Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Reading from the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 6. And it's text number 8. Is that everybody following on the phones? Yeah. Great. So I'll say the Sanskrit and you can repeat the Sanskrit as well. Jnana Vijnana Triptatma Kutashto Vijitendriya Yukta it yuchate yogi Samalo trasma kanchana Jnana Vijnana Triptatma Kutashto Vijitendriya Yukta it yuchate yogi Samalo trashma kanchana. Anyone else like to read it? Would you like to read? No, it's okay. There's no pressure.
Yeah.
I'm going to read the translation. Translation. A person is said to be established in self-realization and is called a yogi or mystic when he is fully satisfied by virtue of acquired knowledge and realization. Such a person is situated in transcendence and is self-controlled. He sees everything, whether it be pebbles, stones, or gold, as the same. Book knowledge without realization of the supreme truth is useless. This is stated as follows. Ata Shri Krishna Namadi Nabhavet Kriyam Indriyai Sevan Mukhehi Jivado Swayameva Spurachana. No one can understand the transcendental nature of the name, form, quality and pastimes of Sri Krishna through his materially contaminated senses. Only when one becomes spiritually saturated by transcendental service to the Lord are the transcendental name, form, quality and pastimes of the Lord revealed to him. That's in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1, 2, 34. This Bhagavad Gita is the science of Krishna consciousness. No one can become Krishna conscious simply by mundane scholarship. One must be fortunate enough to associate with a person who is in pure Krishna consciousness. A Krishna conscious person has realized knowledge by the grace of Krishna because he is satisfied with pure devotional service. By realized knowledge, one becomes perfect. By transcendental knowledge, one can remain steady in his convictions. But by mere academic knowledge, one can be easily deluded and confused by apparent contradictions. It is the realized soul who is actually self-controlled because he is surrendered to Krishna. He's transcendental because he's nothing to do with mundane scholarship. For him, mundane scholarship and mental speculation, which may be as good as gold to others, are of no greater value than pebbles or stones. I was born in the darkness of ignorance, and a spiritual master opened my eyes with a torchlight in mind. I offer my respectful obeisances unto him. Chaitanya Mano Vishtam, Stapitam Yena Bhutale, Swayam Rupagadam, Ayam Tadati Swapadantikam, Amaham Vishnu Vidaya, Krishna Vistaya Bhutale, Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Nityanamane, Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Vacharane, Nirashesha Samyavadi Paschatara Deshitarane, Panchakalpa Turubhyascha, Kipasindhuvebhyacha, Patidana Pavanelyo Vaishnavyo Namo Namaha. I'll just read the verse again. A person is said to be established in self-realization and is called a yogi or a mystic when he's fully satisfied by virtue of acquired knowledge and realization. Such a person is situated in transcendence and is self-controlled. He sees everything, whether it be pebbles, stones, or gold, as the same. When Srila Prabhupada came to America in 1966, after about 3 or 4 years, he set up what was called a library party. And what the library party did was that they went all over America and they went to all the leading libraries and they put sets of Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita and Bhagavad Gita in all the universities. And a few years later, some of the devotees went to those colleges and started to discuss with the professors. And subsequently, some of the devotees, they had discussions with the philosophers and academics in the college. And afterwards, they had some social gathering. But during the social gathering, a lot of those academics were eating meat and drinking wine, which really kind of proved that all their academic study was absolutely useless, because they weren't following what they were supposed to be studying. Even classical studiers, classical teachers of Greek and Roman philosophy in universities in the West, they admit that to understand people like Plato or Aristotle, or even Pythagoras, that they had to lead a life of virtue in order to properly understand what these people were talking about. But in general, I went to UCD and studied philosophy for a while, and some of the teachers were priests and were quite pious people actually, so they were able to actually speak on it quite well. But generally the students who were there, there'd be a class of about 400 or 500 students at one of these lectures or whatever, but I would say 0.1% of them maybe were following the necessary path by which they could really understand what these philosophers are saying. So it's the same thing what Prabhupada is saying here about the Bhagavad Gita and about transcendental knowledge. And it completely goes against the grain, because so many people, they think, oh yeah, well, these universities, they must know, they're the top people, they've obviously studied everything, therefore it's all correct. But Prabhupada said, no, they don't know anything. They don't know anything. That's quite a bold statement, isn't it? You know, it's suddenly some person can actually stand up against the whole establishment and say that it's bogus. But that's actually what Prabhupada did, you know. And he's saying it here very clearly. It's in the middle of the Bhagavad Gita, it's chapter 6. And if you study all of Prabhupada's writings, you'll see he doesn't change his tune at all. And the reason that he's so confident to take on a lot of these, of the mainstream, is because he's strictly following his spiritual master, who's strictly following his spiritual master. You know, Evam Parampara Praptam Imam Rajarshe Ovadu Sakalane Namahata Yoga Vrashta Parantana. That this knowledge is coming directly from Krishna, all the way back 5,000 years, when Krishna spoke it to Arjuna. It hasn't been changed, and the knowledge is very clearly Krishna saying in the Bhagavad Gita here. Because if you look what he's saying here, he says that a person who is established in self-realization and is called a yogi when he's fully satisfied by virtue of acquired knowledge and realization. So it's realization is the important point. It's not that you. I had a radio interview yesterday, and the person asked me. We were talking about who is. Who teaches philosophy in our centres, and they were asking me. It was a woman. She was asking me, "What about women? Do women?" And I said, "Yes, of course. Anybody who's qualified can speak this." And then she asked, "Well, what qualifications do they need?" And kind of thinking that they had to go through so many exams. And I said, "No, it's not that kind of qualification. It's someone who's spiritually realized, who is conscious of God in their everyday activity. You know, in other words, that in whatever they're doing, they're aware that God is present, and that they have that ability to connect with God. You know, that they're not just kind of being able to, by virtue of maybe a superior intellect, to be able to argue philosophical points based on a kind of a logic which is only relevant to your material senses. And what I mean by that is that the kind of information that you can get from your senses is quite limited, although that is what is considered to be knowledge today. And the ability to be able to say this knowledge in examinations is generally the qualification that's needed to get your exam and be considered scholarly. But the realization, and this is what these next verses are all going to be about, the realization that you need to be self-realized is aporoshaya. It's from the spiritual world, and it's coming down. It's a descending knowledge, because it's not available here. The senses just can't access it. They just don't have the ability. You know, they're just limited, completely limited. And then one of the major qualifications that is necessary to be able to take in this information is that one has to be humble. One has to realize that one's own ability to try to, beat down the door of knowledge is, it cannot be accessed that way. It can only be accessed when God sees that you're ready. Like, the amazing thing is that God is in every atom. You know, here in this room, every atom, God is there, Krishna is there. And He's also in everybody's heart. You know, He's there. And He's constantly speaking to our soul. But because our soul is covered, we can't hear Him, we can't see Him, we can't, from a spiritual senses, we cannot connect with Him. But certain souls who are advanced in spiritual knowledge, they can access the Supreme when He's there. And they're the type of persons who are self-realized, and they're the sort of persons who can help us become self-realized as well, because they're talking in relation to what they're inspired to speak from God. That's why the great saints and great sages in the past, in Ireland, it used to be 4th to the 8th century. It was considered in Europe to be the island of saints and scholars. And that was because there were so many monasteries set up And so many people used to come. The monastery was actually the center of the village, or the center of the town. And the monks were considered to be the most learned. And if you ever go over to the Book of Kells in Trinity College, you'll see all the amazing artistry that they did. They spent, beautifying the Bible, basically. So they were very realized, and but it was very similar very similar to India as well, where the sages are the people that people go to and they get blessings from, in that sense, because they're in contact. That's their business, is to get the blessings of God, and the whole community then it functions in a normal way. We have to eat, so we need people to farm. We have to get water. We need vehicles to get around in. So everybody has a particular place to play. But the sages or the saints, that they have that place that they can spend their time accessing the spiritual knowledge and then spreading it to others. And that's what the village was kind of, surrounded by. So that was the same thing which was happening also. So hopefully, we have temples all around Ireland in the future that are the central places where people can come and get the knowledge again. They did have that also, really. They had churches as well in Ireland, as you see, many, many churches. So it used to be that people would flock to church 6, 7, 8 times on a Sunday, and twice or 3 times every day. It's drastically reduced, but we're also trying to set up these kind of temples. And also another important place is to set up the temple is in everybody's home. Is to have your altar, and it's like a kind of like a sacred space in the house, and invite your friends in, and read Bhagavad Gita and discuss Bhagavad Gita, have kirtan. It's a rapid way of helping people, because otherwise what do people do? They'll be scrolling on their phones. I know I probably would, Facebook for the 90th time, or Instagram, whatever it is, you just kind of, your whole time, a lot of time will be spent that way. Whereas instead, if you're hearing Bhagavad Gita, you're hearing Krishna talking, it becomes very, 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 very enlivening. So is there anything anyone would like to add or want to ask about that, or what we just read, or any questions or any comments? Could we go on to the next one? We'll just hold the point though. The point was that a person is said to be established in self-realization as called a yogi when he's fully satisfied by virtue of acquired knowledge and realization. Such a person is situated in transcendence and is self-controlled. He sees everything, whether it is pebbles, stones, or gold, as the same. The point I picked from the purport is that by transcendental knowledge one can remain steady in his convictions, but by mere academic knowledge one can be easily deluded and confused by apparent contradictions. It is the realized soul who is actually self-controlled because he has surrendered, that's a big word there, surrendered to Krishna. Okay, so we go on to the next text, which is text 9. Surin mitra yudasina majasta dvesha bandhushu sadushvapi chapapeshu samabhutir vishishate. Okay, I'm going to read the translation. The person is considered still further advanced when he regards honest well-wishers, affectionate benefactors, the neutral, mediators, the envious, friends and enemies, the pious and the sinners, all with an equal mind. So what does anyone think that means? Any ideas? What does that mean?
Doesn't that lean towards indifference?
Yeah, it's interesting. It does seem like indifference. But indifference is kind of like a conscious activity. You could be indifferent to somebody, but you know what I mean? It's a conscious thing. But it's a different type of indifference, I think. But maybe that's what you mean anyway. But just let's see a hand here. Anyone know anyone else on that? It's like, can you imagine if somebody comes and shouts at you, says, "You were a rascal, why did you do this?" And then someone else comes in, "Oh, you're such a wonderful person," you know? So would you be equal to both of them, or would you like the person who says you're nice and not like the person?
Both
Yeah.
are equal, right?
Pardon?
Both are equal, right? I think it depends upon the situation.
Yeah.
Situation goes.
Depends on the situation, but both are equal. Yeah. Pat?
Is it a self-realized soul, seeing the soul going beyond the mind
Yeah.
and the body?
Yeah. It's a self-realized soul. No, Hare Krishna. Okay. It's a self-realized soul can see the soul. You know, he doesn't see the person with the mood that's coming at him. He just sees it as the soul. Do you know what I mean by that? And do you know what I mean by that when you were saying indifferent? It's like it is indifference in a sense, but because he doesn't make a differentiation. In that sense, it's indifferent. You know what I mean? He doesn't differentiate, and that's because he's on the spiritual platform. He's on the platform of the soul, and he sees all these other people on the platform of the soul, which is really interesting. And so just hold that verse there. So that's very interesting. I'll just read it again because it's so powerful.
Yeah.
Or would anyone else like to read it again in English?
I'll read it then.
Yeah.
Translation. Person is considered still further advanced when he regards honest well-wishers, affectionate benefactors, the neutral mediators, the anxious, friends and enemies, the pious and the sinners, all with an equal mind.
There's a word there that I saw which I didn't see until you read it that time. It's considered still further advanced. See that? So therefore, what was the verse before it? A person is said to be established in self-realization as called a yogi when he's fully satisfied by virtue of acquired knowledge and realization. So he's satisfied. See, the person is satisfied in themselves, you know, by their knowledge. But then it says they're further advanced because they have to, you know, act out in the world. Because therefore it's okay to be kind of a great pious person if you're sitting in the Himalayas somewhere or in your room, but then if you go out into the public and then suddenly somebody starts shouting at you and you kind of get upset as well, it means you're not as advanced. So that's the next stage of that. That's what I see by that actually, and that they're still further advanced. Such a person is situated in transcendence and is self-controlled. He sees everything, whether it be. Oh, here's an interesting difference as well. He sees everything, whether it is pebbles, stone, or gold, as the same. So in that sense, when he sees gold, pebbles, he doesn't make a differentiation. So for instance, if I had a big gold bracelet here, you know, on the thing, on this, and we were told it's worth 200,000 euros, you know, would we kind of have a look at it, you know? We'd be somewhat kind of attracted, or you know, we'd be affected perhaps. But that's the material things though, in that sense. But the next verse talks about when people come to you, you know. So therefore you're still further advanced when people come to you with different moods and you're still even-minded. Is that clear? That's kind of, it's a nice differentiation, I thought. So I was going to I just want to go back to there's 4 main verses in Bhagavad Gita in the 2nd chapter, in the 2:11, 2:12, 2:13, and 2:14. Asocha navasocha stram prajavaj katasana katasana usochanti patita. I'm going to read them, and the reason that you'll see now in a minute why, and because it relates very much to that verse that we just read. And these are probably very, very significant verses. Okay, here we go. It's because it's the first time Krishna speaks. Like Arjuna has been speaking up for the first chapter, but this is the first time Krishna really starts to speak, and he starts to instruct Arjuna. And he says, the Supreme Personality of Godhead said, while speaking learned words, you are mourning for what is not worthy of grief. Those who are wise lament neither for the living nor the dead. Now that's a pretty powerful thing to say, because if somebody dies that we know very well, of course we're going to lament. We're not robots, isn't it? So, but then if you go to the next verse, it says, never was there a time when I did not exist, nor you nor all these kings, nor in the future shall any of us ever cease, shall any of us cease to be. So that's the next part of the knowledge that comes in. He says that the reason that you don't lament is that the person hasn't died. They're eternal. You know, if you just say the first part without saying the second part, then you'll be considered to be very callous and crude and very uncaring. But the reason is because a person knows that this person is eternal as the soul and doesn't die. And then the next part is, the next verse is, as the embodied soul continuously passes from boyhood to youth to old age, the soul similarly passes into another body at death. The self-realized soul is not bewildered by such a change. So here's the next reason, is because the soul just keeps on going through different bodies, and at the point of death goes into another body. So one who is self-realized is not bewildered by that. So these are really powerful words by Krishna. And therefore the next verse is the last one I'm going to read, 2:14. O son of Kunti, the non-permanent appearance of happiness and distress, and their disappearance in due course are like the appearance and disappearance of winter and summer seasons. They arise from sense perception, O sign of Bharat, and one must learn to tolerate them without being disturbed. So that's another major message in Bhagavad Gita. You have to learn to tolerate all the things that are going on. So to tolerate ourselves growing old, tolerate ourselves getting diseased, tolerate winter and summer, tolerate birth, death, disease, and old age. So many things. Our karma, tolerate the modes of nature, goodness, passion, and ignorance. Tolerate our karma, having to deal with our karma. So Krishna's giving us a lot of things in which to tolerate, but the self-realized soul, he's not bothered by any of those things, and that's the place where we want to get to, and that's what this whole Bhagavad Gita is teaching us. This. So, is there any comments, any questions? Anyone to ask anything? Make any point? Okay, we'll go on to the next verse in the 6th chapter.
I had a question.
Yeah.
How do you read this along with, there's a verse that says, happiness is within?
Oh, good. Yes, that's an apparent contradiction, but that's the happiness and distress is material happiness and distress that Krishna's talking about. The happiness within is the real happiness, is self-realization, because the soul is by nature Sak, Chid, Ananda, and Vigraha. Sak means eternal, Chid is full of knowledge, and Ananda means blissful. That's our natural situation, is blissful. And that's why, we do experience bliss in this world, but we're experiencing it in relation to the wrong things, because we experience them generally in relation to the senses. If I have a beautiful drink of lassi, oh yes, very nice. Especially if it's a warm day, not if it's a cold day. Whatever, there's the sense enjoyment that's temporary. Dehi samsparsha means that that the happiness that's available to the senses is only temporary. But the real happiness, which is what you're talking about there, that's the happiness within. And that's the happiness that Krishna is highlighting here. And if you have that happiness, then you will be undisturbed by the other seeming happiness. Yeah. Thank you. Is there any other comments or questions?
Yeah, Manu, sorry, 6A, is it similar to 518?
Yeah. Yes.
The humble sage.
Yeah.
The humble sage by virtue of true knowledge, see with equal vision, a learned and gentle Brahmana, a cow, an elephant, a dog, and a dog eater.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Some similarities.
oh, it is. It's absolutely, yeah. Because you'll find that Krishna keeps on repeating certain themes throughout, and those ones, the ones that he repeats are the ones you really get on, you really kind of absorb it. That one 518 is a great example actually, and there's a great picture of that one. Is the sage in the forest, and he's seeing the super soul in all the people's hearts. He's seeing in the elephant, a dog eater, a gentle Brahmin. He sees the same super soul in each of them, which is pretty powerful. It's the ultimate, egalitarian understanding, the real understanding of how we're all equal, is that each of us is a soul, and Krishna accompanies each of us wherever we are. That's such an important thing, because, and that, I think that's the level of humility. That's because it's a learned and gentle. No, what is it? A sage by virtue of true knowledge. Yeah, that's what a sage is seeing. And to be honest, if we actually kind of meditate on those verses a lot, if you meditate, what is that sage seeing? Why is he seeing that? That will help us to get actually deeper into what Krishna's actually talking about. And actually, I'm going to go on to the next verse, because this is a real kind of explains that as well, actually, which is 9. 6, 9, 9. Yeah. No, we've done 8 and 9. 10, yeah. And this is the real crunch point in Bhagavad Gita. It's a real crunch point, and Srila Prabhupada explains it. Actually, I think it's the next verse, but anyway, I'll read this anyway, which is pretty amazing. Yogi unjita satatam atmanam rahasishtata ekaki atachitatma nirashya igraha. A transcendentalist should always engage his body, mind, and self in relationship with the Supreme. Oh yeah, this is it. He should live alone in a secluded place and should always carefully control his mind. He should be free from desires and feelings of possessiveness. Purport. Krishna is realized in different degrees as Brahman, Paramatma, and the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. Godhead. Krishna consciousness means concisely to be always engaged in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. But those who are attached to the impersonal Brahman or the localized Supersoul are also partially Krishna conscious, because the impersonal Brahman is the spiritual ray of Krishna, and the Supersoul is the all-pervading partial expansion of Krishna. Thus the impersonalist and the meditator are also indirectly Krishna conscious. The directly Krishna conscious person is the topmost transcendentalist, because such a devotee knows what is meant by Brahman and Paramatma. His knowledge of the absolute truth is perfect, whereas the impersonalist and the meditative yogi are imperfectly Krishna consciousness. Nevertheless, all of these are instructed herewith to be constantly engaged in their particular pursuits, so that they may come to the highest perfection sooner or later. The first business of a transcendentalist is to keep the mind always in Krishna. One should always think of Krishna and not forget him, even for a moment. Concentration of the mind on the Supreme is called samadhi or trance. In order to concentrate the mind, one should always remain in seclusion and avoid disturbance by external objects. He should be very careful to accept favorable and reject unfavorable conditions that affect his realization. And in perfect determination, he should not hanker after unnecessary material things that entangled him by feelings of possessiveness. All these perfections and precautions are perfectly executed when one is directly in Krishna consciousness, because direct Krishna consciousness means self-abnegation, where there is very little chance for material possessiveness. Srila Rupa Goswami characterized Krishna consciousness in this way: Shaktasya Vishayan, Yatara Mupa Yunjate, Nirbandha Krishna Sambandhe, Yuktam Vairagam Uchate, Vapanchikataya Budhya Harisambandha Vastuna, Mamukshubhi Parityago Vairagam Falgukartate. When one is not attached to anything, but at the same time accepts everything in relation to Krishna, one is rightly situated above possessiveness. On the other hand, one who rejects everything without knowledge of his relationship to Krishna is not as complete in his renunciation. That's Bhakti-Rasa Samhita Sinjit 1.2.255 to 56. A Krishna conscious person well knows that everything belongs to Krishna and that he is always free from feelings of personal possession. As such, he has no hankering for anything on his own personal account. He knows how to accept things in favor of Krishna consciousness and how to reject things unfavorable to Krishna consciousness. He is always aloof from material things because he is always transcendental and he is always alone, having nothing to do with persons not in Krishna consciousness. Therefore, a person in Krishna consciousness is the perfect tyagi. I'm going on to the next verse. Has everybody been following? It's pretty hard. That was a pretty tough verse, I have to say. The next one is a little bit more, I think, yeah, the next ones I wanted to get to, I'm going to come back to that previous one. So, to practice yoga, as Krishna says, one should go to a secluded place and should lay kusha grass on the ground and there cover it with a deer skin and a soft cloth. Has anyone here got a deer skin by any chance? Or kusha grass? Bit hard to, you can't get it in pennies, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
They're not selling deer skin anymore. But anyway.
Yoga mats.
What? Yoga mats, yeah, that's close. The seat should neither be too high nor too low and should be situated in a sacred place. The yogi should then sit on it very firmly and practice yoga to purify the heart by controlling the mind, senses and activities and fixing the mind on one point. It's said that today the maximum one can usually concentrate is about 18 seconds. That's what the maximum. Anyway, now this is the point. Listen to this purport because it's really important. It's a really important one. Sacred place refers to places of pilgrimage. In India, the yogis, the transcendentalists or the devotees all leave home and reside in sacred places like Prayag, Mathura, Vrindavan, Rishikesh, Hardwar and Dublin. Not Dublin, sorry, I must have misread that one.
Wexford.
Yeah. And in solitude, practice yoga with it where the sacred rivers like the Yamuna and the Ganga flow. But then Prabhupada says, but often this is not possible, especially for Westerners. The so-called yoga societies in big cities may be successful in earning material benefits, but they are not at all suitable for the actual practice of yoga. One who is not self-controlled and whose mind is not undisturbed cannot practice meditation. So that pretty much counts for most people, actually. Therefore, in the Brihanaradiya Purana, this is the get out card. In the Brihanaradiya Purana, it is said that in Kali Yuga, the present yuga or age, when people in general are short-lived, slow in spiritual realization, and always disturbed by various anxieties, the best means of spiritual realization is chanting the holy name of the Lord. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And the verse says, Harir Nama Eva Kevalam. Kalo Nasjeva Gatiranyata. In this age of quarrel and hypocrisy, the only means of deliverance is chanting the holy name of the Lord. There is no other way, there is no other way, there is no other way. So, I've got a question. I wish I had a prize to give to somebody who answers the question, but I don't really, except you can take some Mahaprasadam outside. But the question is, just in that last verse, what are the two opposites that has been presented by Prabhupada and by Krishna there? Can anyone say? Or put up your hand if you know the answer. What are the two opposites that has been said there? It's not so hard, it's not a trick question. There's two opposites that are being described there.
I think just again my opinion.
Okay.
What I got from this is that one says you need to be at sacred places, that Ganga, Yamuna, the rivers, but
Yeah.
one says that chanting where you can do wherever you want and wherever you are present.
Yeah.
So that doesn't need sacred place.
Very good. That's very good. Yeah. Yeah, because when Krishna talks about it in the verse, he talks about going to a sacred place, laying kusha grass or deer skin and kusha grass, and go and live in these sacred places. And it's not going to happen for most of us. We're not going to do that. You know, by Krishna's grace, I might be in Prayag next week. I'm going to India on Wednesday, and we're going to try to go there for the Kumbh Mela. But it'll be basically driving 400 kilometers or more, or 600 kilometers, I think, and going and bathing in the river and coming back. You won't be residing anyway. But so it doesn't happen. You know, we can't do that so much. So does that mean we're all lost? No. Prabhupada is saying, and he's quoting the Brihad Naradi Purana, that by chanting, the power that Krishna is not different from his name. You know, God is there in his name, and in this age is specifically available in his name, and that's why we do the kirtan evenings on Friday 7 to 9, and a lot of us do this chanting in the morning time. You know, preferably from, you know, depending on how much you can chant, but if you take initiation, or if you're very serious about chanting, you try to chant for 2 hours, you know, and it's blissful. It's incredible. I mean, your mind does kind of drift. You know, it's not easy, but if you're able to set up your life in such a way that you're able to do it, it becomes an absolute dynamite. You actually you're making rapid progress in spiritual life. You know. And ultimately, that's the only real progress that you can make here, because even if you become Elon Musk, whoever would want to be Elon Musk, not that I know him that well, but you know, he's going to lose everything, point of death. He could become a rat in his next life. He doesn't know, you know, depending how he's lived this life. He's not in control. The modes of nature are just like that, just at the point of death. Become a mouse, you know. You're a great person, become a mouse. You know, this is whatever you get. I'm just using that as an example, not as a person or such, but someone who has amassed so much in one lifetime. So who wants that type of thing? That just as Prabhupada was very, he was able to stand up to the world in so many ways that we spoke about at the start. So he wants us to be the same. He wants us not to be, you know, just carried away by the waves of the material energy, you know, trying to influence us all the time for a life of slavery to our senses, because that's all it is. I want this, I want this, I want this, I want this. And instead, what he tries to do is to give us the energy so that we can learn to use our senses in the service of God, you know, through which is the main theme of Bhagavad Gita, which is surrender, you know, Sarva Dharma Parityajya Mama Kam Sharanam Praja. In other words, you use everything that you have in the service of God. You know, you're not for the service of yourself. And that way, you'll actually experience happiness. You know, we experience happiness by giving, not necessarily by getting. You know, so by that act of giving and that act of surrendering to God, that's the real place. And that's what Krishna's. He spoke it 5,000 years ago. It worked then, and it's still working today, more than ever. You could say. I don't know. Maybe you couldn't say that, but it's definitely still working today. But it's maybe becoming a little bit harder to access, but it's definitely available. Is there any other comments? Okay, so next week we'll just go back on the verse that we skipped there, which is another powerful verse. And we will continue with the kirtan. So I'm going to start with some chanting Hare Krishna, and then we'll take over. And we have kirtan tomorrow, isn't it? At 4:30 to 8:30. Yeah, we have a constant kirtan tomorrow if you're able to make it from 4:30 to 8:30. And it'll be for those who are anxious to hear more and chant more.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Krishna Hare How's your voice melody?
Wow, wonderful.
Okay.
Wow.
I don't know.
Sorry, Prabhuji. I know only the same kirtan. I see you just.
Oh, I just did it. Your kirtan, did I?
Is it not problem?
Two again? It's okay.
Absolutely.
Sorry.
It's Krishna's name, so.
Yes, yes. 24 hours. 7 days a week. It's not my kirtan.
Sorry, can I ask you to sit closer, please? Much closer.
Yours is better than yours. Kirtan is better than mine.
That's all.
Very nice.
Don't worry. So, and let's try to sing as loud as we can, okay? For Krishna. Honestly. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare पिंड की जय गौर प्रेमानंद
हरि बोल।
So just to remind everybody, we're going to have kirtan tomorrow from 4:30 to 8:30, non-stop for 4 hours. Just drop in any time, it will all be exciting. So for 4 hours tomorrow, we're doing kirtan. So I'm just going to play a little bit and then Hari Haran is going to take over. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
And 9 o'clock you need to do the Nachamarti, right? Yes. Okay.
Is someone else reach you?
Okay.
I can.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Jaya
सत्य तत्व की शीला प्रभुपाद की गौर प्रेमानंदे। We'll do a small Harinam Japa for 5 minutes and then we'll do the Narasimha. Harinam Japa for 5 minutes and then we'll do the Narasimha. Or should we do the Narasimha now?
What is
No, Harinam. Harinam Kirtan for 5 minutes and then we'll do the Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Everybody one last time. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Panchatattva ki jai, Gaura Premanande, Hari Bol.
Om Shri Bhagavan Nrsimhadev ki
Jai.
Namaste Narasimhaya. there prasadam. Please take prasadam.
Did you just order? Did you just order the harmony? Did you just order it?
Sorry, my English.
Oh, yeah, okay. One, and this,